Uncool is recorded on Audio-Technica mics.
Hi, I'm Sean.
And I'm Yen Ling, and welcome to part 2 of us talking to Edward Choy, our guest for these 2 episodes in Uncool, the freelance creative exchange, where in this season we talk about money.
Of course, we talk to your fellow freelancers about stories about, wealth, about happiness, about greed, about investment, about so many things. And because don't you just absolutely hate it when you go watch some YouTube video or you watch some Instagram ad and there's always some guy who says, "Oh, I've hacked the stock market. Oh, you bought this and I sold this and look at the returns I made, like 2,000% in 2 weeks." And don't you just hate it? So we are not that kind of show. We bring people that are really down to earth, very honest. Someone like Edward. Edward, please introduce yourself again for those who have just tuned in for part 2.
My name is Edward Choy. I'm an actor. I'm a host. I lecture part-time at NUS. I do quite a bit of financial literacy education for freelancers and young people. And yes, I have voiced over 700 ads. That this traffic report is brought to you by Harvey Norman, yes.
Oh my goodness! Wait.
If you listen to that voice, hear him telling you there's a sale, he tells you you go on a cruise. And I think Edward is nothing like those guys that we were saying about, that who goes in there and says they've hacked this and that, and so they made themselves rich and all their followers rich. I think he's keeping it real. He just told us in the last episode how he's lost a lot of money, in fact all his money, and left $40 in 2 years. And then he had to make everything back, and it took him about 3 times the amount of time to make all that money back that he lost. So I think we all have something to learn there. The speed of which you lose and the speed of which you gain, though it's not the same.
Just quick math for everyone. If you lose 10%, okay, it needs to gain, this is not proper math, but it needs to gain about 20% before you get back to break even. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so again, you lose 10%, it needs to gain double in order to get back to the original amount. So this is why Warren Buffett, this is related to how I made back my money. A lot of it has to do with Warren Buffett's number 1 rule: don't lose money. Don't lose money. You want to invest in businesses. You want to invest in businesses that make money, businesses that don't disappear. Because I've invested in businesses that no longer exist. The entire investment gone. Okay, so I've made a lot of mistakes along the way.
Why did you invest in them in the first place?
Well, but who knew that you'd go out?
Yeah, so this is hilarious, okay? Gone. It was from my broker, analyst report, by recommendation. So I just tonged like $3,000 at it. And then a few years later, it was gone. I was like, oh my goodness, why you guys do this to me? And then that really, really drove home the lesson. And this is, for me, one of the most important lessons. You are responsible for your own money. You're an adult. It's your money. You are responsible for it. When you delegate it to someone else or something else, the example I have recently is Stashaway and what happened with the KWEB, KWEB, so the China Internet ETF. They bought in at the high and they sold it off at the low. And all the Stashaway customers were like, why did you all do that, you idiots? But Stashaway is supposed to be a great way for you to invest so that somebody else can do all the thinking for you. So this is what happens when somebody else does all the thinking for you. Alright? So
But that's with hindsight as well. I mean, isn't it, in a sense?
The thing is,
because nobody knew that's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Right? But the thing is, who takes responsibility? The Stashaway users absolutely did not want to take responsibility. They were so angry. But hey, you chose to put it in their hands, which is why for me, I'm just like, okay lah, it's my money. If I lose money, it's my fault. If I make money, it's my responsibility also. Like, yay. So that's it. Okay, 7 years. How do you make back the money? I'll give you all some basic math, okay?
So sorry, can I just jump in here just for context? What number are we talking about? First, they lost in 2.5 years, and they had to regain
just under 6 figures. Okay, so it's not a lot of money. Okay, it really is.
It's not
a lot of money.
But it's not small either.
Yeah.
I mean,
but for me, that was my life savings and my inheritance from my granddad. Okay, that was all of it, and I thought I could make it $1 million. I couldn't, because what I did was I gambled it all away on warrants on the local stock market, not even on the US market, on the local stock market. Okay, so what happened then? I'm left with $40. I want to tiao lao already, right? Never jump off. Okay, so I don't want those spiritual moments where like God tell you everything's gonna be okay. Okay, fine, I believe. I went back I started saving and investing at least half of my income every month. That was my aim. First thing I did. Second thing was I started hiding money away from myself. What do I mean? Is that I forcibly, every time I had money, I would take it, I would calculate what I needed for my expenses, and then the rest of it is invested straight away. It's gone. I can't touch it. Where does it go? It goes into companies that are businesses that make money. So nothing speculative, nothing crazy. Yeah, we're talking. Am I allowed to name specific counters here?
Yeah,
If
go
you
ahead.
want
I mean,
to, yeah.
but do you remember Edward and I and Yan Ling? Well, neither of us are saying please go buy it.
You can look at things which are on the Straits Times Index. Look at the three banks there. They make up 40% of the Straits Times Index. 43%. Yeah, we've got OCBC, UOB, DBS. Are those banks going to disappear? If they do, Singapore is screwed. Does that make them good investments?
There will be bigger problems than money.
So does that make them good investments?
Bigger
I don't
problems
know.
than money if that happens.
Yeah. So what else can you look at? You look for companies which, and this is Warren Buffett again. You look at companies which have great investment moats, which means that they have monopolies or they have positions which cannot be challenged. In Singapore, always people talk about these two companies, SGX, the Singapore Exchange, then the monopoly stock market operator. And the other one, NBN Netlink. What do? NBN Netlink provides all the fiber cables for all the internet in Singapore. So companies like that,
They're a monopoly, yeah.
yeah, there's no other company. All the telcos buy internet bandwidth from them, from NBN Netlink. And NBN Netlink pays a yearly dividend of about 5%. SGX pays about 3 to 4% dividends, okay? These are...
This is where you're talking about compounding.
Yeah. So these are stocks
Compounding
which
dividend.
are unlikely to do crazy stuff. This is not the GameStop. This is not the iFast, AEM kind of stocks. The tech stocks that go boom, 200-300% in a year. No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, yeah.
Right? These are the stocks that will be slow, they will be steady, that these are businesses that will still be there. Even when the worst things happen, as long as the Singapore government exists, these stocks will exist. And that means your money is safe. So when you invest in things like that, you get to go to sleep every night and not have to worry about anything. And that is a beautiful feeling, folks. That is priceless. I spent 2 years with open positions and being terrified going to sleep every night next to my wife, wondering if next morning I was going to wake up $10,000-$20,000 down. Okay, it's no fun. Yeah, you want to invest in a way which gives you peace of mind.
So you're not the FOMO guy that is going to shoot.
Hey Sean, I have to be honest with everyone here. I am not an investing genius, okay? I still make mistakes. To this day, I still make mistakes. I need to qualify that I'm holding on to some very serious losses from my investments in Chinese tech companies and Malaysian glove stocks. Okay, at one point, I was up 94% on my glove stocks and I didn't sell. So now I'm down 50% on the thing that was up 90%. I didn't sell at the height of the pandemic. I kept thinking, sure recover. Didn't. See, I still make mistakes. But here's the thing, my investment will still be there. These are some of the biggest companies in Southeast Asia, in Malaysia. Okay, the Chinese tech companies, Alibaba, Tencent, are they still going to be there? Of course they will be. They're the biggest companies in China. Am I in losses? Sure. But when am I going to sell this? When I need the money. And I don't need it now. I need it when I retire. And you're going to tell me that, maybe Alibaba will just crash and cease to exist in the next 2 or 3 years. No, not going to happen. So, yeah, quite okay lah. All right. That's it. Okay. Quick shout out for diversification because we addressed that in the previous episode. It's because of diversification that I actually am still in profits, that my portfolio is still in profits. Why? Because I invested in crypto. And most of the profits come from my crypto portfolio. Yeah, lots of my Singapore stocks are doing very well also. Singapore is a wonderful defensive market. Yeah, I'm a massive believer.
The reason being?
For those of our viewers who are not unfamiliar with stock markets, so when last 2 years, after the pandemic crash in March, the stock markets went up like crazy. Okay, you know what the Singapore stock market did?
Yeah.
It did nothing. It just went... People were so angry.
It did absolutely nothing.
Angry. But then...
In fact, I think there was one point he said it was the worst stock market in all of Asia.
Yeah. A lot of people were just
I think
angry.
I heard a little bit of that, yeah.
as far as performance is concerned, anyway, as you were saying, people are angry.
But over the past year, I think Singapore has shown what it really is. It's defensive. It won't do the big, amazing, crazy parabolic rises, but it's been chugging along very healthily and in a very stable manner. And hey, if you don't need that kind of stress in your life, okay, if you're not big on volatility, Singapore's not bad. Speaking of volatility, okay, I have a crypto portfolio.
Speaking of volatility.
And I'm a massive believer in distributed ledger technologies and blockchain tech. My portfolio that's crypto started at 1% in 2018. In 2019, it became 3%. And in 2020, it became 15%. And I didn't invest more. I didn't buy more. It became that amount because the crypto went up.
It went from 1 to 15.
It's essentially that. And I'm actually starting to put money in it over the last 2 years. I aim to have it at least a third of my portfolio, and I own a whole bunch of different coins and tokens. The bulk of my holdings, very safe: Ethereum, Bitcoin, Phantom, and MicroStrategy, which is a US company that owns a lot of Bitcoin. Yeah, so diversifying, actually very important.
So how do you see these future tools, crypto, NFT, blockchains, and so on? How do you see them impacting the future?
They're going to change the world. They are absolutely
in what sense?
Going to look. I think both of you are fairly positive on blockchain technologies, so I think you agree with me that the future is on the blockchain. It's already changing so much of how the world works. It'll continue to make things even better. I'll give you an example. Okay, recently a big company in Singapore had a privatization exercise. It went from being a co-op to becoming a private company. The shareholders were complaining they couldn't sell their shares because company's going to be privately listed, not publicly listed. So how to sell the shares? Kept complaining. All I could think was that the solution was so simple. It's from DeFi, basically. You create a liquidity pool with SGD, tokenize the shares. So 2 elements, SGD, tokenized shares. You set up an AMM, an automated market maker, link it to the LP, and you're done. That's it. Anytime you want. You want to buy, sell the shares, you don't even need the stock market. And that's the point. Crypto does things cheaper, so much smarter, so much faster. And don't even get me started on transferring money, okay? Swift is horrible. Once you started transferring money in crypto, you'll be like, why am I transferring money through the banks? I'm paying 10 cents to send millions of dollars if I wanted to. I don't have that kind of money, but yeah, it's the same cost. No matter how much you spend, you're sending on most of the blockchains. It's nothing, folks. It's really, really, you try it for yourself. Okay, send money in XLM, send money in Litecoin, send money in XRP. You see the difference. You just be like, mind blowing.
But let's take a step back for people like me who have absolutely zero. I mean, I see the potential. I think it's interesting. That's for me, right? Because I just haven't reached that level in my investing. I've just started putting a little bit in a very traditional kind of stocks. But take a step back for people like me. We just have this very vague idea about blockchain, very vague idea about all these bitcoins and all these different types of cryptocurrencies. How do you even get started? Do I need a very huge amount of money?
No.
Is that even then I just buy coins? Is it?
Yeah.
To me, right? Okay, to me it just sounds like a little bit like the traditional stock market where I just buy and then wait for it to increase based on whatever magic that's happening inside there.
Correct.
And then, my value increases. So it sounds very similar, but at the same time, using a lot of new terms that seem very cheap, basically.
But the difference is that whereas all these stocks and shares and everything, they're regulated, crypto is unregulated, which makes it more dangerous, but it's also a benefit. Why? Because it means that nobody can take your crypto away from you. And if you think about that, you'll be like, no what? Because we're in Singapore, we're like, we're very safe, the government's very fair, everything's okay. Hey, if you live anywhere else in the world, it's a real concern. Anytime, your government can shut the stock market.
As we are seeing in certain parts of the world right now.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Government shuts the stock market. What are you gonna do? Stock market's not trading. How are you gonna sell your shares? Government can take away your access to the banks. What are you gonna do with it? But crypto, nobody can stop your access to the wallets. Recently, they tried to stop people donating Bitcoin to the truckers during the protests over in Canada. You know what the truckers did?
Oh.
They just took the Bitcoin out of the account. The governments could do nothing about it. Okay, so that's one thing. Deregulation is unregulated. It makes you feel like you're in charge of your money. That's one thing. On the investment side, here's my strongest argument for Bitcoin and why I believe so much in it. You know, our money keeps going down in value because of inflation, right? Our banks just keep printing. Okay, governments can keep printing money. It's unlimited how much they can print. They'll just print. Every time they print, your money value goes down. On the other hand, I will talk about no other crypto but Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a limited supply. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. That's it. Yeah, this is something that is controlled by no government. This is controlled by no individuals. There's 100 million Bitcoin wallets in the world. There's only a finite amount of it.
Who was the one who decided on that finite amount?
The creator of Bitcoin, this completely anonymous individual called Satoshi Nakamoto, who may not even exist. But you see, he can't affect it anymore. He coded it in. And the code, which is Bitcoin, continues to exist as it was coded. And that's the beauty of it. It is the world's only truly neutral asset.
So how do you see this? How do you see them changing the way transactions are going to be made in future in Singapore?
I'm really hopeful that the government will be open to using blockchain technologies for payments, for example, for forex transfers. Over in South Korea, they already use the Terra blockchain of this thing called the Chai app. So over 2,200 businesses accept payments using normal credit cards, but they don't know that it's not processed over the Visa or MasterCard. It is processed through the Terra blockchain. And the fees, this is where it matters. For the merchants, MasterCard, Visa, 3%, right? Chai's fees are 1% to 1.5%. And if you're a merchant, that can mean the difference between life and death for your business. 1% to 1.5% every year, every transaction. Okay, so that's at the most basic level. That's one of the things you can do. The next thing is Forex. Remember I mentioned that it's very cheap to transfer money? What if there was an option for you to transfer your crypto and then it can be withdrawn by the person who's receiving it in their home currency? You transfer it for 10
But wouldn't
cents.
that still be like, I have to go back into the usual currency, and that's still being recognized or controlled by the different banks? And I think that's where, for me, just like, okay, we're back to the same point, right?
I agree with you, which is why I only hold less than 5% of my total assets in cash. The rest of it I hold in stocks and in crypto. And it's very aggressive and quite risky. But I prefer this to letting my cash slowly go down in value inside my DBS Savings Plus account.
There's no point going to break into Edward's house and try to steal money. You're only going to find 5% of it.
I was laughing, when I saw the OCBC scammers thing, because in crypto, scams are non-stop. You get emails on messaging on your messaging apps all the time from scammers. So I become very used to blocking everything. So when I heard that they were stealing money from people's bank accounts, I was like, you keep money in your banks? I would laugh if someone had access to my bank account and took all the money. I'd be like, okay, too bad for me. Okay. But it's not life-changing. But for a lot of people, it is life-changing. Yeah, like 70-80% of their money is in their bank accounts. And for me, that's just like, please do something. Please secure your money.
I think what we've been mentioning the whole time is about how you take a long-term view, you keep in compounding, you're collecting dividends and all that. But actually, long-term planning is actually very, very hard.
It is, isn't
right?
it?
Because people's goals, people's desires, people's needs are going to change over time.
Yeah.
So how do you balance that, and how do you forecast that?
Or how do you, I wouldn't say trick your mind into it. What's your thought process behind it, and how do you keep yourself disciplined in doing that?
So I'm bad at math, but I've had to do the math. So I'll do the math for you all now, okay? I want to have $5,000 to spend every month in my retirement, which means every year, 12 months. How much would I need?
Well, it's
$60,000. How do I get $60,000 every year? This is how I work backwards, right? First I decided this is how much I want every month to spend in my retirement. 5,000. I work backwards. 1 year I need 60K. How do I get 60K? I need $1 million Why? Because I know that very safely I can get 6% returns on it every year. And 6% of $1 million is $60,000. So now I've got a target. Okay, retirement planning, right? I've got a target. I've got something aimed towards. I want $1 million. Okay, how do I make sure I get that $1 million? So I can plan ahead, which is why I say that by the time I'm 60, hopefully I've reached it. And I am on track. With the returns on my portfolio every year, I am on track. And I believe it is a very doable aim. Yeah, and that's how you plan.
Speaking about the future and planning ahead, what advice would you give to a freelancer, such as myself maybe, or even back when you started prudently investing? If they wish to get started and they're complete novice, what would you do? Or what advice would you give them?
That is a fantastic question, Yanling. Thank you for asking it. I've been thinking about this for a really long time. This is like, especially if you're in a full-time job, you're thinking of quitting, right? Okay. Here's my advice to you. First, do everything that you're willing to do to make money. Don't ever betray your principles for money. It is just money. You can always make more. But once you betray your principles, there will always be a stain on your psyche. It will always be on your mind. Okay? Next thing. The gig economy exists. It is not the best thing, but it exists. What does it do? It allows us to convert free time into money. That's what it does. It's a machine, basically. You put time into it, money comes out. That's the gig economy. That said, if as a freelancer you're providing a technical or professional service, the more you do it, the wider your network becomes. So keep doing it. When you start out, it'll be a bit rough because your network is very small. But the more you do it, and do it well, do it professionally, do it with pride, keep at it, your network will widen, and if you're even half decent, you're going to be fine.
Spoken from somebody who's done this for how many years?
About 13 now, yeah, 13 years now.
Yeah, 13, yeah.
So very quickly to say this, compared to my friends in corporate, the mental health benefits of not having to report to a boss are amazing, folks.
Of course, it also helps if you have 700 ads to voice in your.
But that's over a long career.
I'm the volume guy.
But you have to build
man.
it, right? Yeah.
I'm the volume guy. I'm the guy they go to. Hey, can we do a whole bunch of ads for us for cheap? Okay lah, I do lah.
There's no magic formula behind it, right? It is about doing what you love doing. Like what you said, don't betray your principles and you're exchanging your time for your money. I never really thought about it in those exact words.
It's something I always really believed in. That I mean, when it comes to money, is that the personal experiences that we have with money and the way that we use money, it makes up like a very small fraction of really what's happening in the world. But to us, it's really 90% of our world, 95% of how we think the world out there works. And there's just this very big disconnect.
But that's why we created this podcast, is to let people understand a little bit more or widen their knowledge. If people around you are not doing this, maybe you don't know. And you're just listening to more people about how they're doing it in real life and not, selling snake oil.
Taking away from this, I'm listening to Edward for the last 20 minutes or so. I think we can sort of get the impression that to you, financial success or financial independence, so on, is a soft skill. It's not really a hard skill. It's a soft skill. It's like, how are you behaving with your money? So, Edward, on that note of how you behave with your money, 2022, it has been completely volatile. Needless to say, has been very choppy.
It's been a dumpster fire. Come on, let's be fair. It's been a complete mess.
Various reasons. It's a mess. Santa Claus rally never came. Geopolitically, it has been a complete mess. So, and then, the dips are violent, the rips are as violent, and then it dips back very violently again. It's a mess. So, Edward, on that note, how are you behaving with your money in 2022? Given given this last experience of the last quarter?
I Marie Kondoed my US stock portfolio to go down to the 10 best. Like, if I could only buy 10 stocks. Those 10 stocks are the ones that even if anything short of nuclear war, these companies will be fine. Nuclear war, sorry, everything's gone. Good luck to you. Grab a gun, hold your kids close. But short of that, these 10 really are the best. So it's all about quality. You know, when there's volatility, what do you look for? There's a flight to quality. And there is a risk here, okay? Everything has been dropping so much. What's the risk? The risk is that if you stay out of the market because you're scared, you're going to miss what happens when Vladimir Putin finally gives up and says, all right, I've had enough. Because I'm telling you, not just the stock market, not just crypto, everything, property, commodity, everything will just go crazy. Yeah, you don't want to miss that. I'm not telling you to buy now. I'm not telling you to buy stocks. I'm not telling you to buy crypto. But I'm telling you, you need to think about investing. Because if you don't, you continue to stay on the sidelines, what happens to your money? It loses value. That's it. Inflation will just eat it away.
Wow, so you're saying be greedy when there's blood on the streets?
The fear period is done. It's gone. It's over. We're back in the greed. Market's crazy, guys. Yeah, it was hilarious though. My portfolio was down something like 7-8%. I was just like, I bought in right after the war started. In Feb, I started buying in. And then by early March, yeah, like Sean said, I was down 70%. I was like, oh, jalala. Never mind, I hold on. Right now, I'm up 13% from there, which means that my portfolio, those 10 stocks have gone up 20%. In how long? In 2 weeks. Guys, that's crazy.
Markets always look forward. They're looking 6 months forward or more. You know, look at the last 5 days, you will forget that there's actually a lot of big drama going on in Europe and a lot of and a lot of other not nice things.
So can I just ask, Edward, can I just understand how much time is spent on your freelancing gigs and of course the business of freelancing that you have to do and trading, or you know, your investments and looking at the markets?
So Yiling, I'm a bit of a freak in that I'm unusual. I enjoy reading the news. So we're talking the mainstream general global news and also the financial news. I enjoy it. This is what I do for fun. This is part of my life. I enjoy knowing about the world. I'm just that kind of weirdo. I wonder sometimes if like why I'm like that, but yeah, I always like learning new things about the world. So I spend a lot of time thinking about it. For those of us who have no such inclination, you're like, wow, I really don't want to know the news. What you're doing, for example, Yanling, you have an advisor, someone who helps you decide where to put your money, to deploy your money. That's actually better than not doing anything at all. And I would argue, yes, absolutely, please do that. If you don't want to think about where to put your money, you're just like, it's too much for me. Please don't. It's not worth your time. Okay? You have much more important things to think about. You have work, you have family, you have your interests, money, all these investment things. Let someone else do it, pay them for it. Okay, that's fine. But as long as you're not just leaving it there in the bank. Because who makes money from that? The bank. And from that, the next logical step is, hey, why don't I just own shares in the bank? Then you make money from the bank too. Right? Makes sense, right?
Never thought about it that way, but yeah. I was like,
Okay, so on that note, yeah, and then you go get some stocks in Starbucks or something. Like, why not make money from
Really?
Starbucks?
Not
Yeah.
even joking.
Spending money
I
there.
really get it.
I'm not
You
joking.
use an iPhone, you use a
it's,
MacBook,
it's
buy Apple.
why
not?
It's behavior, right? It's how is your, again, it's how you use your money. It's how the world works.
Yeah, because you're spending money there, right? Actually,
Yep.
this was, I had this thought back when, and this was when I didn't really think about trading that much, and my dad was the one who was playing around with the market, and I just saw malls opening. I was like, oh, I want to go there. Why didn't I buy CapitaLand? Because that's where I knew I was gonna spend my money, and it was true. It went up, so I was like, hey, okay, it's not that difficult. But I was
Again-
thinking, like, hey, is there something that's missing? Because that can't be it.
Yeah, like here's some alpha for
So
you.
we talked a lot of
The next step from this is what's happening next? We're reopening, right? People are starting to travel, right? Where are they going to spend their money? Think about it.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Think about it.
Yeah.
It's like actually investing isn't that hard. Okay, like when people were like, when the pandemic started, what did I buy? I bought Sheng Siong because I saw the queues at the supermarket. What did I buy? I bought the Malaysian glove stocks. Why? Because they need gloves. You know what I'm saying? It's all very logical.
Uh-huh.
It's all very logical.
It is literally run by where
bought
we
DocuSign.
spend our money, right?
Yeah, the
Like, as
businesses you know.
consumers. Yeah.
So Edward bought Sheng Siong and what, Top Glove?
Wow, Top Glove.
Was it?
And
Yeah.
Riverstone. And I'm in losses in both of them. I have to be honest
Yeah,
about
and
this
Riverstone.
because I didn't sell.
I bought DocuSign and I sold it.
Good for
I'm
you.
seeing what-
Some of you listening here might be thinking, wow, actually quite scary. You're going to buy stocks, then you lose half your money. This, that. Best advice for you, okay? Number one advice, you can take this to the grave. When your auntie, uncle tells you, your neighbor tells you to buy something, number one thing you should do is ask yourself, am I feeling FOMO right now? If I'm feeling FOMO, don't do anything. Next thing you do is your research. Okay, don't ever say yes to FOMO. FOMO is the number one way to lose money to scammers or to lose money to bad businesses. FOMO is bad. If you feel FOMO, don't
to get
invest.
caught in the falling knife.
Yeah, don't invest when you feel FOMO.
So that was a lot of great advice.
As with all times, we will ask all our guests as a last question before they leave. When were you the most uncool, Edward? And what will you say to yourself if you can talk to the person today?
I think when I was in school, I really thought I was something special. I was really just so damn full of myself, the arrogance, the hubris. It was just completely ridiculous. I was ridiculous. So I would say to myself back then, be humble, listen, learn, and for crying out loud, Edward, just shut up.
Edward, and final words to our freelancers before we who want to get started. Any advice for them?
Freelancing is awesome, guys. The trade-off in quality of life is priceless. Okay, if you can freelance and you can deal with it, keep going.
And Edward, since of course since you do theatre work and we know that's reopening, can we see you anytime soon?
If you'd like to keep up with what I'm doing, I'm on Instagram at Choy Edward, ChoyEdward. And is it okay if I just share one final parting thought for everyone? Yeah, this is something you hear from your
Yes,
insurance
please.
agent all the time, okay? And is this, please, everyone, please don't forget to pay and protect your future self, okay? You work now, it's not just for your present self, it's also your future self, So please make sure, we've been talking about investments, please make sure you have insurance before you even think about investing. Because it's deeply irresponsible to not have insurance coverage and make other people pay if something happens to you. Alright? Please, tolong, don't even think about investing if you don't have insurance. And get term insurance because any other insurance, the insurance company is investing your money for you. Don't do that. Just get term insurance. Trust me on this.
So we'll be hearing Edward again in another ad if you're driving or in a mall within the next 2 weeks. Well, maybe tomorrow actually. He's done so many. If you want to hear from other guests that's coming up in our new episodes or catch up on our old episodes, drop us a like. Remember to click follow on our podcast. Tell your friends about us. Drop us a 5-star rating. Don't worry, it's cool to do that because it's cool to be uncool.
Uncool was recorded on Audio Technica mics.